It's time for the type of energy only Darren McCarty and Neil Rule can give. It's time for Big D Energy, live on Woodward Sports. Join four-time Stanley Cup champion and legendary badass Darren McCarty and the golden voice of Neil Rule, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., as they give their takes on all things Detroit sports. The number one midday show in Detroit is on. Welcome to Big D Energy.
And welcome to Big D Energy, right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Stick, filling in for Neil Rule. That is Sean Belesian. He is filling in for Darren McCarty today. We just played the intro. Hypes up Neil, hypes up Dalen. Neither of them are here today. You got us, but we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about and some not so fun stuff to talk about.
What a weird day yesterday. It really was. It was a weird day because, like, Stick, on one hand, that might be the greatest road victory. I'll go as far as saying it's the greatest road victory the Lions have had in my lifetime. I can't think of one better than that, like, honestly. And on the other hand, well, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, you know, and we're gonna address the elephant in the room. Obviously, that's something that's gonna be discussed. It has been discussed. Players' names have been mentioned ad nauseum to this point. I think we've all had a little bit of time to absorb what happened. You know, I did the post-game show yesterday, and that's an immediate reaction show, right? So you're still emotional. Your mind's running. You don't know how you're gonna handle it. Had a little bit more time to process everything, but we'll get into the Aiden Hutchinson thing. A quick update on that, though. The Lions released a press statement about 45 minutes ago saying he had successful surgery on both his broken bones. A full recovery is expected, but they did not give a timetable for that. Another caveat to this is I was wondering what's going to happen to his salary with the salary cap situation because Aiden Hutchinson signed a fully guaranteed salary. It's already on the books. It doesn't matter that you're taking him off for the next season or so. He's going to affect the books either way. So you don't get any relief there. Salary cap, none of that's on the table. So if anybody was thinking about that, I went to Neil Rule this morning since he is the salary cap aficionado, and he explained it to me in that way. So not going to get any relief there. But let's start off the show first on some good news.
Let's do it.
It's Jared Goff's birthday.
Hey,
it's Jared Goff's birthday. I mean, Jared Goff, I did a little thank you on the morning show on Wake Up Woodward, but it's the birthday boy's birthday. I can only imagine Christian Harper jumping out of a cake for him today. Shut up. Happy birthday. Shut up. Just so happy for this man. What a way to absolutely crap on Jerry's birthday and to celebrate yours at midnight.
It was phenomenal. It really was. I mean, across the board, and it was funny. We were talking about it on the pregame show yesterday, Neil Rule and I. Make sure you check us out 10 a.m. Home games were at second best. But, Stick, I thought the funniest bit during the course of the week was when guys were in lockstep unison talking about how they're not thinking about last year. And I call BS. I called BS yesterday. I called BS all last week. And most importantly, this team called BS for 60 minutes yesterday. That was personal yesterday. A beatdown like that was personal. They didn't go all the way with it. Let's be honest. It could have been a lot worse than it was. But to me, that's the funniest thing about it. To hear Jerry Jones say after the fact, it wasn't just the fact that we lost. It was the Detroit Lions were toying with us. I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember the exact line. But I started giggling.
Yeah.
Like Stick, I started giggling over that.
It was like a cat playing with a mouse.
Yeah, it really was.
Like, okay, you're acting dead. Whap, right across again. Oh, okay.
I was dying. I'm old school. I like to follow the play-by-play during the course of the game. And if you guys go back and look at the play-by-play, Stick, I don't know if you saw this. One of the funniest things is whenever they got deep down there, you would see, you know how they write it out? It would say, Skipper and Decker reporting.
Yeah.
And like play after play after play, it said that. And yes, it was personal. Absolutely it was personal because that was a loss that really, really sucked last year. I mean, make no mistake about it. So they exercised that demon. But, yeah, you know, again, here I'm talking about it, and then Oh, yeah, Aiden Hutchinson. And you immediately
We'll get to that. I want to focus on the positive and the fun part of yesterday, because yesterday was fun, except for one play. And it cost you the whole damn excitement, but still, to go into Jerry's world, to do that on his birthday, and like you said, the manner that they did it the whole time, they played coy. Yeah, no, we're not worried about last year. We don't even think about last year. It just shows that not only are these guys absolute dogs on the football field, that they're intelligent beyond, because they weren't given any locker room banter. They weren't given any bulletin board material. But behind closed doors, now they're smiling to your face, but behind closed doors, we hate you.
No.
We're going to destroy you. And not only are we going to destroy you, we're going to embarrass you on national television. We're going to try to have offensive linemen, not one, not two, potentially 3 score touchdowns. Not really counting the Dan Skipper out there at wide receiver as a potential score of a touchdown, but he was in position to catch a pass, right? But you get a little hook and ladder to Penei Sewell. It's just insulting at some point. It's I don't even know how to describe it, because I've never seen someone play with their food like that.
No, that's a great. You know what I love too? I remember talking to Flannel Sam about this a few weeks ago. Okay, and whether we want to admit it or not, we all collectively are new to all of this. Okay, we have not seen it like this in our lifetime. I don't care who you are, but you know what they remind me of a little bit right now, and I feel dirty saying it, but I don't feel dirty saying it. The Kansas City Chiefs. And let me tell you why. Because the Kansas City Chiefs just go about their business, and some weeks people go, "What's wrong with the Chiefs? What's going on with the Chiefs? They didn't put up 30 points. What's going on?" Oh, the Detroit Lions have shown over and over that they can win if they come with their B game, if they come with their C+ game. And to the people out there a couple weeks ago, and Stick, I know you probably heard it like we did, okay? What's going on with the Lions? What's going on with Ben Johnson? How's that taste right now? Seriously, their last couple outings, the offense has just been clicking, man. How's that taste right now? That's what good teams do. They find themselves. You're going to have the ebbs and flows, there's no doubt about it. But the people that were worried about this team, and in particular worried about this offense, you can lay your pretty head to rest at night. This offense is clicking.
And if you listen to Dan Campbell, he said that, right? He's like, hey, man, sometimes, man, it takes till week 5. It may take to the bye week to get this thing rolling, man. That was an exact quote from Dan Campbell. So, oh, my God, the bye week, 6 weeks into the season takes that long to get the offense going? Yeah, it did. And I think we're fine for it, too. And once again, tip of the cap to the coaching staff for understanding nuances of this game that the common fan is going to freak out over. We're not panicking. We like what we saw. Even though we went 1 of 7 in the red zone against the Bucs, we're going to get there, guys. And when we get there, it's going to be glorious. And that's what happened. And he referenced back to the Saints offense when he was, with the New Orleans Saints and Sean Payton. Sometimes it'd take Drew Brees and that offense a couple games to get going, maybe 5, 6, 7 weeks. But once they got going, you knew Drew Brees and company were going to put up 40 on your head whenever they felt like it.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about this offense right now. And it's across the board. And this goes back to so many conversations. It's like, have it your way. Yep. How do you want us to hurt you today? Seriously, do you want a dose of Montgomery? How about some Gibbs? How about we give you one of the best tight ends in the league? And that's the beautiful thing about this offense to me, Stick, is just how diverse it is.
Yep.
And honestly, I don't want you especially to think that this is like a pot shot against Jared Goff, because I've confessed my sins about Jared Goff. Now, see, you don't have to do that. It goes to show you again what an offensive line does for a team, though.
Oh,
okay?
yeah. That's not a shot at Jared Goff.
Yeah, but it's only because of this offensive line. No. An offensive line in the National Football League that is this damn good allows you to do so much stuff. I don't think enough is said about this unit. I really, truly don't. And just the mastery. It really is. It's mastery in the run game, in the pass game, in pass protect. It is absolutely phenomenal. You can't put a price tag on the trenches. And again, this is why our general manager is better than your general manager.
Yeah, and our OC is better than your OC.
Oh, he
and our
is.
HC is better than your
He
HC.
is.
And we'll get into the DC, too. That may be a debate for some people, but they had a hell of a game yesterday, holding the Dallas Cowboys to only 9 points. Ben Johnson, he's just having fun, man. And I think he cracked the code, right? You saw first game of the season, they ran Monty a lot. Then they came out and they tried to pass the ball a lot, get J-Mo involved. They wanted to play with those new toys. Now I think he's found the rhythm. Punch, punch, punch. And I tweeted this out yesterday. It's like Mike Tyson. Their offense is like watching Mike Tyson. Jab, jab with Monty. Okay, right hook with Amon-Ra. And then a step to the side, uppercut. And that was the knockout punch for Tyson. And that's what he was doing yesterday. Video game. Punch, punch, hook, uppercut. Punch, punch, hook, uppercut. And it worked. Sam Laporta getting his touchdown on a double flea flicker, reverse, whatever the hell you want to call it. And the best part is, you know who was watching yesterday? Everybody, and especially the Vikings on their bye week. Imagine going into this week preparing for the Lions. All right, DBs, you got to watch for Penei Sewell. You got to watch for Taylor Decker. You got to watch if Dan Skipper spread out wide. You got to watch the triple reverse. You got to watch the flea flicker. You got to make sure you're staying contained and not over pursuing on a catch now because we're running the hook and lateral more than most teams have ever done it. Like 2 consecutive weeks of hook and laterals.
No,
that's unheard of.
And you know,
it's child's play.
Stick to me. It was role reversal yesterday. How many times in our lifetimes have we seen a beat up Lions team that had a margin of error this small to begin with?
Yeah.
Go into a place and just get pummeled like that. And everybody knew what was going to happen. Look, newsflash: the Dallas Cowboys can't stop the run anyway when they're healthy. Okay. They were far from healthy. Honestly, I think Flannel, Stick, and I know KG would have been a bear out there. We probably would have been a better linebacking core than they had. So you know what they said? They said, we're going to run on you.
Yeah.
We're going to run here. Here's David Montgomery. He already is an angry man.
He got paid.
My love for him is just, it keeps growing. His anger, even after getting paid, he's still angry.
That's what I love.
Stay angry, Dave. Stay angry.
There's no resting on your laurels on this team. It's like, you paid me? Oh, I'm going extra hard for you now, coach.
Right.
Like, and it seems like he just keeps leveling up. Monty was breaking tackles last year, but that first touchdown run of this game where he's breaking tackles, he's spinning, his T-shirt's getting ripped off. It's just so much theater and so much pomp and circumstance, and he just bulldogs it into the end zone. You can't stop it.
Well,
what defense can stop it?
I'm going to use, you brought up Mike Tyson earlier, I'm going to use Mike Tyson again. You know, it's the famous quote, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth, right? And that's the Lions just kept punching. And you almost got the feeling very early in the game, the Dallas defense is going, oh, geez, they're going to hit us again. Oh, and then, you know, when you flinch, that's when you get the play action going. You know, okay, you think the punch is coming, so you flinch a little bit. Oh, look, there's Sam Laporta over the middle. Oh, look, there's the absolute weapon that is Jamison Williams doing what he does. So, I mean, this is where we're at right now. It's a wonderful place to be at with this team offensively.
And obviously, we're going to get into the Aiden Hutchinson thing in the next segment. One part I want to address about the Aiden Hutchinson injury and hopefully soon recovery is how the Lions responded after it, right? There was a whole second half to play. Everybody that was at Hey Social at the watch party is like, all right, let's just kneel on the ball. Let's get out of here, right? Let's just get out of here. No more injuries. But that's not the identity of this team, and that's not the mindset of these guys. It seemed like they went even harder, and they went even deeper into their bag, just trying to really prove a point. And it didn't matter that they lost one of their emotional and physical leaders. They came out, the defense still did what they needed to do. The offense was still doing spectacular plays. It really showed me that my panic mindset is not in that locker room.
No, not at all. And you know what? It's funny that you mentioned it because, and I know we're going to get to it. We keep teasing it, but my initial reaction was like everybody else's.
Yeah.
You know, we've been waiting for this so long. Your initial reaction was, oh gosh, that's it. And you know what? I'm glad that I had some time to sleep on it because that's not it. It's not it at all.
It felt like it was it in the moment,
Oh,
though.
it sure did. It did all night. Let's be honest.
It felt like it.
I'm not going to lie. I went to the liquor cabinet and I visited a couple old friends in the liquor cabinet. I did. It was just like I don't need this right now. I feel so much better. You get that medication in. But all jokes aside, again, Stick, this is where we're going to keep it positive. If you watch this offense and you watch some of the other playmakers on this defense, I don't know how you could say this is it. There can be some help. We'll talk more about some of the space and what might be needed to do and all those wonderful, magical things. But, man, you know what? If this has to be, I'll go old school on you, Mike Martz, and we have to outscore you, this is a team that can outscore you. They can outscore you. They can.
Yeah, I mean, you can take the boat race approach. Like, first team to 35 wins. Let's go. KG, we got to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk about Aiden Hutchinson, possible replacements, the effect of that injury, what it means for the team. So, obviously, that's the big thing. But it's such a weird juxtaposition on a Monday when you go to Dallas and you hand them that beat down, but you still got to talk about what actually happened on the field. Who we got, KG?
Salvation Army first.
Oh, the Salvation Army. It is almost time where you hear the cling, 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 cling. And you know what? Sometimes I kind of walk by because I don't have change in my pocket, but they now do it digitally too. You can drop that Venmo to them. So if you want to sign up, though, to be one of the bell ringers, it's an honor to do it. You're helping people. You could do it right now. Just hit up their website. Sean, I'm sure you've rang a bell once or twice in your radio career.
Yep.
That's always been a part of the gig here. So, yeah, you could sign up to general public. They need the help, all the help you can get with the Salvation Army.
And tell us about Caesar Sportsbook Group.
Oh, Caesar Sportsbook. I mean, when you're looking at the overs for Jared Goff having a perfect game, you know you could take that with confidence because not only do you have birthday boy Jared Goff on your side, you got Caesar Sportsbook on your side. And make sure you use that promo code that's on your screen right now. You're going to get hooked up with some great things. Caesar Sportsbook, it's the way to go. They got the best lines.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
All of Detroit sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. Congratulations to the real coach of the year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
To prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test, that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
All right, you know all about it. Aiden Hutchinson snapping his leg yesterday. Well, there's one guy that's going to tell us all about the comeback, all about what he's going to have to do in rehab, and the timetable, because the Lions have not given you one. But Dr. Pierce, he's going to give you that great insight. He's a part of the Woodward Sports Network. He's on the shows Tuesday and Thursday, but it's Monday after a big injury, so he is going to be on Ermanni and Edwards today to talk about Aiden Hutchinson. So you're looking for that clinical approach to what happened yesterday. Dr. Pierce is the man. He's going to be discussing it all day long right here on Woodward Sports. Welcome back to Woodward Sports. It is Big D Energy. My name is Stick, filling in for Neil Rule. That, of course, is Sean Belesian, filling in for D-Mac. We are live at the beautiful Feldman in Novi. Got the vet behind us, got the nice little license plate. You know, when you buy a vet from Feldman, you get a free license plate holder. Did you guys know that?
I didn't.
Not everybody will do that for you. The people here at Feldman will.
Isn't that a beaut?
Yeah.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
I mean, I would forget the car. I want this. I want that. All right, Sean. Aiden Hutchinson. It took the wind out of the sails yesterday. It took probably one of the most enjoyable Lions victories to – I don't want to say it wasn't enjoyable, but it puts an asterisk on it. For all you Michigan haters, this is what an asterisk actually feels like on something. Like, this is what an asterisk is for, not your feelings. Where do they go from here? I got multiple questions I want to address during this segment. A, where do they go from here? B, if they don't go anywhere, is this defense strong enough to maintain? And C, do you want to mortgage the future for current success? So let's tackle all three of those in this segment right now. And in the chat, I want to get your response to that too. And shout out to everybody in the Woodward Sports chat. We appreciate you guys. Sean, your feelings yesterday. My initial was when I saw him being carted off, it's the most devastating Lions player I've seen carted off since Mike Utley. Like that moment like sucked the wind out of me as a child. This was the same. Obviously, paralyzation is a lot worse. And so I'm not making the injury comparison, just the gut-wrenching feeling of knowing that one of your dudes is going out the game.
I was at that game. It's funny. I was a kid at that game, and when Utley got hurt, we didn't know what was going on.
Right.
We had no idea what was going on. But the fact that it took so long really terrified you. I am one of those people, and if you want to call me a wuss, you wouldn't be the first. I don't like looking at those replays. I don't. It just – I'm sorry. I've had weird things happen to my body in the course of my life, so I think that it brings back bad memories. But like everybody else, you saw the one replay, and then you turned your head, and you can't help but think of whether it be Amon-Ra in the Super Bowl, whether it be Joe Theismann.
That's what Anson compared it to. That's a Theismann injury.
Some of the moments that you saw and everything, and your mind starts to go crazy. I love what you said there about mortgaging the future, because I think there's a parallel to be drawn between this team and Lion teams of the past, okay? The 2014 Lions, great memory, and they got shafted down in Dallas. Dez took off the lid. You know the routine.
Yeah, we still got the ball
picked up the flag,
back.
all that. Picked up the flag, all that crap. All right, so that team, everything came together that year. Remember, Terrell Austin's defense, everything came together. You ask anybody on that team, and I've had this conversation with multiple guys from that team, and they said, you know what sucked about that? They knew the window was open this wide.
Yep.
They knew that it was a small window. This is not that circumstance at all. This is a window right now for the Detroit Lions. I'm not going to put a time frame on it, but it's more than 1 year, okay? Now, with that being said, would I do it? Absolutely. I would.
You go mortgage the future?
100%.
Okay.
I would do
KG,
it.
can we put that up as a poll?
What?
Would you rather the Lions, A, mortgage the future,
Okay.
or B, stay the course?
Can I tell you why? It isn't just because of the Lions. Now, you guys tell me if I'm wrong here. And, we're going through a strange thing right now, Stick, where maybe fans around the nation are going, what's up with these suddenly cocky Lion fans? SCL is a real thing. Suddenly cocky Lion fans
that.
is a real thing.
That's
okay?
better than SOL.
Hey, listen, you guys, seriously. And I'm going to ask you guys first and you guys in the chat. Who do you fear in the NFC?
No one. Anson asked me that yesterday.
Nobody.
I don't have an answer.
Nobody.
No one.
So you know what? Yes, I want to hedge my bet. I have to give Minnesota respect. Minnesota, you're off to a 5-0 start. We'll see in Mini on Sunday, by the way. But I don't look at anybody right now. There isn't a San Francisco 2023 out there.
No.
There isn't. There isn't one team in the NFC. Now, there's a lot of time left on the slate, Stick, as you know. A team can go like this during the course of the season. You see it every year. But all I can do is base this on today, October 14th, 2024. There isn't one team in the NFC that I look at and go, ooh, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So you know what? Yeah, I want to hedge my bet. I do. What do we have to do? I know what the space is, about $28.5 million. I know what certain contracts are, $24.5 million. We'll get to his name in a second. And him pushing a coach, by the way. But with that being
He
said,
said that was in love.
Oh, yes.
He said it was in love.
And you know what? It was in love. Just like the Lions didn't think about the Cowboys game last year. So, yeah.
It's just like Aaron Rodgers pushing Robert Saleh away in love.
Yeah, there was a lot of love there. But no, Stick, honestly, yes, hedge the bet. You don't know. There are so many things that can happen. You don't know. You know what I do know right now? The Detroit Lions are the best team in the NFC.
To your point, you don't know. And if Aiden Hutchinson isn't an example of you don't know what's going to happen next season, it's not going to be a replay. You're not guaranteed to get back there. That's why I was so pissed they pissed away that opportunity last year. They gave away the NFC Championship game. Everyone, we're trending up. It's a good – that's not how football works. That's how a lot of other team sports work, like in NBA. But football, the next year the Texans can come out of nowhere. C.J. Stroud is that dude. They've added Joe Mixon. Now you're no longer – like I brought it up yesterday. Ask the Bills about the window and about getting there and being close. Ask the Bengals. Oh, Joe Burrow's going to have an amazing future in the NFL. Oh, have the Bengals been back?
Yep.
It doesn't work like that. It's so hard to climb that mountain that once you get up there, you cannot give an inch. And like I said, if you are a fan that isn't all in and trying to mortgage the future, like me and Sean, you can call us delusional. Aiden Hutchinson needs to be the example of why you can't wait.
You got it.
He is your now poster child. You want to know why you can't wait? Slap it on the freaking wall and say, this is why. You could lose your best player. You could lose whoever. You don't know. Now is the time. You know you have the offense. The offense is Super Bowl caliber. They need a defense to support it. And I'm not saying it needs to be last year's Kansas City defense, who was very exceptional and kind of carried that team when Patrick Mahomes didn't have a Patrick Mahomes-esque year. We need a comparable defense. We don't need to have world beaters, but we need somebody that can hold the other team to 24 points a game.
God forbid, and I don't like to think of injuries, the most important position in football, I don't care what anybody says, is quarterback. Okay, as important as Aiden Hutchinson is, and he's the best player on the Lions, no disrespect to your boy, the most important position is the quarterback position. And I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about Jared Goff rolls out and somebody twists his knee in an inhuman way. You know what? Do what you have to do. Put the eggs in the basket this year. I'll worry about it down the line. That's why Brad Holmes is so good at what he does. There's some space there. There's some wiggle room. There are some things that can be done. I mean, think about this team. Again, I don't know how anybody could say, other than if you're in Minnesota, this is the best team in the NFC right now, and they've got a lot of space. I love your thought about linear. I'm such a big fan of logic like that, and I use the Detroit Tigers as an example because everybody and their brother thought in that magical run in 2006, we're back.
Yep.
It was 5 years, guys. 5 years until the Tigers made the playoffs again. Trust me, we had season tickets. We thought, playoffs, 07, 08, World Series in 2009. It doesn't
When they got
work
Miggy
that
and Dontrell Willis, I bought season tickets in 08.
Right.
They sucked that year. Dontrell Willis. He was supposed to be the Satchel Paige of the North,
I couldn't
baby.
stand that, man.
Well, do you remember the
God, I love that, man. He could hit home runs.
Yeah,
I loved him.
Do you remember the whole crap when Chef came in at 1,000 runs? Tigers are going to score 1,000 runs. I mean, that was real. And, guys, it doesn't work that way. My cautionary tale is always the Buffalo Bills. If you told me 3 years ago that Josh Allen would be without a Super Bowl appearance, I would have laughed at you.
Look at the San Francisco 49ers. They ain't won shit.
Bam.
Stuff. Go tell Lindsey Hunter that. He doesn't want to hear it, but they're the Buffalo Bills of the 2020s. That's what they are. They get there and can't get it done. And if you're willing to be them and everybody, they went out and got Chase Young. They're the better GM. They still haven't done anything the Lions haven't done. They got there and they lost. Congratulations. I think maybe you get a runner-up ring. Congratulations. I don't know.
No, you don't.
But what comforts me is me and you weren't prepared for this. Flannel, I don't think you were prepared for this. KG, anybody in the chat, we weren't thinking, all right, we may lose Aiden Hutchinson. What's the next step? I know for a fact that Brad Holmes has a list of defensive ends that were already targeted, already knew what he wanted for this team, already scheme fits, and he's got his list ready to rock. He's prepared for this moment, and that's why he's who he is, and we're who we are.
Well, and you know what? It's funny you bring that up. I'm sorry to go back in the Wayback Machine, but that was, to me, the last straw with Martin Mayhew. That was the last straw. He was so convinced that Ndamukong Suh was going to stay. He was so thoroughly convinced that Ndamukong Suh was going to stay that when he got caught with his pants down, do you know what? There wasn't a plan B.
Yep.
There was no plan B. And it's like, I remember thinking to myself, holy crap. Because a general manager to me, fans get mad when you think about, well, would you trade this guy? Would you trade that guy? You know what I want out of a general manager? I want a general manager who thinks of every possible thing.
Yep.
Who says, yeah, I'll trade Stick. If the price is right, I'll trade Stick. I'll trade Braylon Edwards. Sure, yeah. Is there another network out there? You give me a couple of draft picks and you sweeten my pot? Yeah, nobody's untouchable. I want him to think
Joe Dumars, there's no sacred cows.
Right.
There's no sacred cows.
I do not want a general manager who sits back and doesn't try to play chess. And that is what Brad Holmes has done since the day he took over this job. And I know, Stick, I remember you and I were working together a few years back, and people were excited about the upcoming season. I was like, it isn't about what happens in 2021. It isn't really about what happens in 2022. You are an absolute moron if you can't see that this guy is thinking ahead to 2023. That's the guy that I want. That's the guy that I want. And all he's done since then is continue to build this team into the monster that it is today.
Yeah, well, and Brad Holmes we trust, and that doesn't change after an injury. I got a question in the chat. We're gonna take a quick break, though. Stick, would you agree that the NFC is more competitive than it was last year? I'll agree that the NFC North is.
Yeah.
The entirety of the NFC
ain't looking too hot.
I'm not scared of the Eagles. I'm not scared of the 49ers. We just saw what the Cowboys are this year. We ain't scared of them.
Right.
The Rams aren't any damn good.
They could
Tampa
beat the Commanders
Bay,
if
Tampa
they
Bay,
were.
maybe. But if we're talking
like that
NFC
team.
North, yes, NFC North is much improved. But the Lions have improved at a 50% rate, while every other team at a 30%.
I think that's fair. Who was it that said that? I
Steve-O.
think they're more competitive. I think the NFC is more competitive. However, this is where you and I may go different paths. There isn't a Niners.
Right.
There isn't that team.
We are the Niners. We're the super
Bam.
team.
That's exactly it. That's exactly
Self-actualization moment.
Listen, listen.
Wait, you can't be the good team. We're the good team.
Last year, I think whether we want to admit it or not, it's okay to admit it now. In the back of our head, we were all kind of shitting our pants about the Niners a little bit, weren't we? I was. Oh my gosh,
They were out.
Shit in the pants, but I get it.
I was terrified of that team. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
There's nobody like that in the NFC this year, KG. There's nobody that I look at and go, ooh. I talked about it. You and I were together. I think Tampa is maybe flying under the radar a little bit, especially what they did yesterday. And I know the Saints aren't all that. And, I mean, Spencer Rattler was starting for goodness sake. But to go out there and be the juggernaut that they were in the second half of that, I think they're sneaky good. I think Tampa's sneaky good.
I'm big on Tampa, but if they face the Lions again, you would be confident that the Lions will win.
Yes, I would.
100%. Where we got to go, KG?
Tell us about the best place for a man to get a haircut.
The best place for a man to get a haircut, if you're a real man, you go Lady Jane's because it's wicked awesome. You can walk in anytime and get treated like a king. I recommend the massage from Bethany where are we at? In Birmingham.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got them strong hands.
Locations everywhere.
Strong hands. Bethany's country strong.
Yeah.
So when she gives you that shoulder massage, it's something legit. So make sure you hit
Shout
up
out
Lady
Beth.
Jane's. They got Bethany's all over the state and all over the country. If you're ever traveling, you need a good haircut on the road, hit up a Lady Jane's. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi experts Woodward Sports. Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward Sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and WoodwardSports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. Oh, no, that's fine. 1800 tequila. We were, Flannel Sam did a shot yesterday at the watch party, and he kind of drowned his sorrows a little bit in it, and that's okay. 1800 tequila can be used to celebrate. It can also be used to drown your sorrows when Aiden Hutchinson breaks his leg. It's dual purpose. It can do both. And let it do both for you. 1800 Tequila, proud sponsor of the Lions Watch Party and post-game show live from Hayes Social. All right, here we go. Welcome back to Big D Energy. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. I know Neil does a much better job of massaging the chat. I'll start doing that throughout the show. My name is Stick, filling in for Neil Rule. He is flying back from California because the Pistons called and needed some Neil Rule. And when the Pistons call, Neil Rule's there like Batman. They threw up the Neil Rule sign. No rules there. But what a professional, doing a show all the way from his hotel room yesterday. You guys did the pregame show. Yeah. What was the tone like in the pregame show? I watched some of it. Was there positivity going in? Was there any fear from Dallas? And I'm not talking from you and Neil. I know your perspective. I'm talking from the fans in the chat and stuff like that.
No, you know what? I kind of got – it wasn't so much about yesterday, Stick, I kind of got – some more people out there that maybe were worried about the Lions getting her going. And it was funny. I know one person in particular made a comment about the Lions aren't all that. KG, do you remember that comment? One, he said, man, the way you guys are talking, the Lions aren't all that. And I kind of chuckled at it because all right, well, what do you want to compare it to? Because all you can do is compare it to those that are around you right now, okay? And I will take the Lions over anybody. And I don't hesitate to say that. I really don't. I will take them over anybody right now. So I think this was one of those games that people knew that Detroit was going to take out some frustration on the Cowboys. That was kind of the vibe that I got. Now, did anybody think it would be to the tune that we saw it happen? I don't think so, but
that doesn't happen in the NFL.
No, not like that.
It doesn't happen in the NFL. A beatdown like that does not happen. On the road team doing that does not happen in the NFL.
Prime Patriots had a few games like that. Remember where they just said, Prime Patriots had a few games like that where they were just like.
But that's Tom Brady. Peyton Manning had a couple games like that. Remember when he threw 6 touchdowns in the first half against the Lions? Remember that game? That was a fun game to be at.
Thanksgiving?
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy 6 tutties in the first half.
Wonderful.
But look at the class that we're bringing up for those games. You're talking about a Peyton Manning. You're talking about a Tom Brady. Talking about a Jared Goff.
In Dallas, too, man.
I love putting those three in the same sentence.
I got you. In Dallas as well. You know, that counts for something. I mean, let's face it.
On Jerry's birthday, too.
And you know, there was I got to tell you, here's the funny thing about this. So my son is out in L.A. He was watching at a bar yesterday, and he hits me up in the third quarter, and he goes, Dad, you wouldn't believe it. Like, people are legitimate Lion fans. And I was like, all right, is this just because, you know, everybody loves to make fun of Jerry Jones and Dak Prescott? He goes, no, dude, everybody loves this Lion team. And it is. I think it's one of those things around the nation that people are going, well, good for Detroit. They've been such a downtrodden franchise for so long. And, you know, it went from the cute little story to, okay, these guys are legitimate. And it's funny, you brought up a point. I want to give you full credit for it. But you know what? It might be the cute little story for a little while longer, that window. And pretty soon, guess what? If we keep this up, all of a sudden we're going to be the dude in the black hat.
Yeah.
We're going to be the villain. Yeah. And people are – bring it.
You either die the hero or live long enough to be the villain.
Listen, everybody likes you when you've been the punching bag for their team for so long.
Of course.
We haven't ruined anybody's playoff aspirations. We haven't sent any good player home. We haven't retired anybody. Until we get to that point where we're crushing dreams of other fan bases, then they'll start hating us, and that's okay. Like, I'll take everybody's friendly with the Lions right now. You ain't going to like us in 4 years if this continues.
No doubt about it. You might not like us by the end of the year.
I liken it to the Red Sox. Remember when the Red Sox, the curse of the Bambino, oh, the poor little Red Sox, the Yankees just keep winning championships and the Red Sox can't do anything. Oh, the poor Red Sox. Then the Red Sox bust through and Boston fans become the most annoying fan base. Boston Red Sox fans are up there with Chicago Bears fans as some of the worst people you can interact with in the history of the world. And they became that way because they won. And I didn't hate the Red Sox until they started winning.
And I'll go back to the Bills. I think everybody loves the Bills Mafia, and it's cute and funny.
Cute.
And Josh Allen, I love Josh Allen. I do, because I've never seen a guy do so many brain-dead things and then find a way to undo the brain-dead things that he's done. It's a fascinating watch. But you know what? They're still cute. And you know why they're still cute? They haven't won yet.
Right.
They've had their hearts broken a few different times. If the Buffalo Bills win, then it becomes different. And you brought it up earlier, those Bills teams that lost 4 straight Super Bowls. They were unbelievable teams, and nobody really hated them because you know what? They weren't going to go out and beat the Washington Redskins. They weren't going to beat Dallas either time. Everybody knew what was happening. After they lost that first one and they had to play those 3 great teams after that, everybody knew what was going to happen. They were going to get their ass kicked, and they went and got their ass kicked. So nobody hated them, but guess what? We've seen it happen with Kansas City just the last few years, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Hey, Patrick Mahomes. I say his name and my head immediately turns to flannel. But hey, Patrick Mahomes. Oh, wow, isn't that cool for Kansas City? That's one of the coolest places to see a game. How many people are like, yay, Chiefs now? Everybody I know hates the Chiefs.
Yeah,
seriously.
well, it's just like the Patriots. Everybody hated the Patriots when they were winning, and people hate winners. One of my favorite quotes of all time, and I've said this probably ad nauseum to our staff too. When somebody's coming at them, I say, "Listen, nobody boos a bench player. Nobody shows up to a game and is like that 12th man, boo, boo. Nobody does. You know who they boo? The stars, the impact players. So if you want to get booed, you got to be good, and that's what comes with it." KG, you're on Big D Energy pretty much every day.
Yeah.
There's some hubbub in the chat. I've seen it since Wake Up Woodward this morning about Neil Rule cursing Aiden Hutchinson and that this is Neil's fault. And he's wanted Aiden Hutchinson's downfall. Neil's not here to defend himself today.
True.
He will be here tomorrow, so I will give him that opportunity, and I will not speak for him.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched Big D Energy a long time. I don't really pick up on haters. Flannel, you may want to speak on this because Hutch is your guy too. But has there been a lot of hate on this show for Aiden Hutchinson?
Is there slander?
So this is one of the many times where I will defend Neil Rule. I don't take pleasure in this, but Neil is kind of in the same boat that I was. We all acknowledge that Hutch is a great defensive end, but he was not elite. And there was another level that he could get to, and we saw it a lot in the years coming up. He would
when was he saying this? The last 2 years or like this?
Pretty much over the last season.
We had the conversation in the summer. I remember that. Now that he brings that up, I was in on that.
So, but wait, obviously he wasn't wrong. Aiden Hutchinson hit another level this year.
Exactly. But, I mean, if you let Sam tell it, it was kind of more on the hater side. But yeah, I agree with Neil the whole time.
I thought there was a tone of dismissiveness. I thought he kind of undersold what Aiden Hutchinson was as a rookie and as a second-year player. He always liked to point out that 4 games where Aiden Hutchinson didn't have a sack. I thought he kind of became a count the sacks bro kind of dude. Like, the only positive thing you can do as a defensive end is get a sack. Like, pressures, he'd scoff at them like they were just as important as water breaks. That's the type of stuff that we were referring to.
Yeah.
And when it comes to other Lions players, when it comes to, like, Jared Goff, it was like, Jahmyr Gibbs, like no criticism whatsoever. Even like a Kirby Joseph. Amon-Ra, Penny, best player ever. Aiden Hutchinson, I need more.
But were any of them drafted number 2 overall?
I understand that, but
okay, so like I mean, with great responsibility, or what is it? Great privilege comes great responsibility.
But he was
right?
a Pro Bowler in year 2, man.
Do you know what we were talking about though? See, I remember it, Flannel, because now you're clicking it in my mind. You know what we brought it up in the context. I don't care what anybody says. This city has a problem with putting guys on pedestals they don't belong.
Yeah,
we do. It
that's
does.
facts.
This city has a problem. No, we do.
No, we do.
Who gets put on a pedestal that didn't belong?
Where do you want me to start?
Just give me
Akil Badu.
I mean, listen, like Brendan Bosch.
You remember that?
You're going with
yeah. We had that conversation,
like
my
you're going
friend.
with Big Red.
might have to give
like
him
those
Lions
guys.
examples.
Brandon Inge, right? People put him kind of on a pedestal that he didn't belong. And my mindset was, and it was funny, I was like, why would somebody even get mad at that, KG? It was like, it's okay to say Hutch is an incredible impact player.
Yes.
Okay? And I think there's more there.
Exactly.
And I would like to see more there. And you know what he did this year, by
More.
golly? He did more. Tip of the cap, right? I mean, it's really that simple. So I think that was the conversation, in the context of the conversation, if you will.
Okay. Flannel, do you agree with that? You're looking a little.
He's still.
The way some people talked about him, you'd think he had 7 sacks last year. He had 11.5 and then 3 in the first 2 playoff games.
Yeah.
He was, I would say, going into this year, a top 7-8 edge rusher.
Yeah.
And now with how
that's fair.
with how he performed early on this season, I
top
think
5.
he had catapulted himself into maybe even be a number 1 if he would have been able to finish this season with a defensive player of the year. Obviously he won't, but
So there was a next level there.
there was, but he was already the best thing you had on your defense all of last year.
True. But there were faults. Like, the pressures are great, but sacks are drive stoppers. Not to say pressures are a useless stat, but at the same time, you want sacks. I mean, if for somebody that gets in the backfield as much as Aiden Hutchinson does, you expect him to get to the quarterback.
Well, that was like the old Ndamukong Suh thing. I used to pull hair out of my head when people would talk about Ndamukong Suh. And it was like, we're all the sacks. And I'm like, you're not paying attention. And
D linemen don't get
Whoa.
sacks like that.
If
Interior linemen.
And if you remember, I mean, Jim Schwartz even made a point to come out and say, listen, if you can't accept the fact what a disruptor he is, you're just not paying attention. To me, Aiden Hutchinson has gone to disruptor. I want a disruptor.
Right.
Give me the disruptor. Because you know what? Cliff Averill will come in and get all the sacks. Somebody on this line will come in and get a. I want the disruptor. If you're giving me my choice, the guy that's going to put up the eye-popping numbers, no. I want the guy that's a disruptor because he's making everybody else around him better. Stick is getting some of the leftovers. KG, Flannel, even my old ass is getting some of the leftovers. So, I mean, to me, I want that guy, and Aiden Hutchinson has turned into a disruptor.
Well, we need to replace that disruptor, and I don't know who we're going to replace him with or if they're going to replace him at all. But coming up in the next segment, let's go over some of the names that are being tossed around. We could include Max Crosby, but I think everybody here wants Max Crosby, right?
Right.
Yep. Everybody here
In a
understands
perfect
it's
world.
almost impossible to get Max Crosby, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
There's
so we
other
can have that
names.
discussion, but we'll include Max Crosby because that is a possibility. If it's 0.5%, you're telling me there's a chance. That's
Right,
all
right.
I need to know
And
at this point.
This poll has been, damn near 50-50, that poll that we put up, but we can address that when we get back.
Yeah, we'll do that. Who do we got to go to?
Tell us about the good people here at Feldman.
Oh, I don't even have to tell you. You just got to show up anytime we're here, walk around, see the smiling faces. Look at those guys talking to George right now. They're selling cars. Things are flying off the shelves. I mean, they keep a stock of vets in here like I've never seen before. Anything you want. Remember that car shortage a couple years ago? No. You can walk in here. You can pick up the exact make, model, color, sunroof. You want this package. You want that package. They got the package for you here at Feldman in Novi.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports. Congratulations to the real coach of the year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
To prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test, that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Hey, you're feeling a little down from yesterday's tragedy with Aiden Hutchinson. You know what can pick you up? A little bit of Sabbath coffee. Get some warmth in you. Get a little bit of energy going. Listen, the team is not one man. They'll galvanize around this, but what you need to do is pick yourself up some Sabbath coffee. It's really good, especially that cold brew that comes in a can. You pour that on ice, and next thing you know, you got the Zoomies, baby. Sabbath coffee. Go pick some up today. Welcome back to Big D Energy live at Feldman Chevrolet in Novi. Make sure you stop on by. Come say hi to George and the boys. Ryan Poulter, by the way, 8-1 on his picks the past couple weeks. A flex he wanted to make sure I got into this show because last year it was atrocious. But, hey, if you're 8-1, you are what the numbers say you are. And speaking of that, the power rankings just came out for ESPN.
All right.
Lions. According to the strength of schedule and all that good stuff, they are now #1 over the Baltimore Ravens. The #1 team in football is your Detroit Lions. There he is, Mr. 8-1 walking by. He heard his name.
I'm not going to complain. I mean, I know that Viking fans are going to complain, and rightfully so. I'm not going to detract from them. I'm not. I'm not going to become what I detest. I'm a firm believer in the National Football League. You are what your record says you are. I'm a firm believer, okay? But I also believe that sometimes water finds its level. And
Yes.
I think that water is going to find its level with this team. Now, the good news is this is in all likelihood going to be a playoff team. I mean, think about it. They got 12 games left, man. You just go 500 the rest of the way, you're at 11 wins. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You're at 11-6. Hell, you go under 500, you're 10-7, and you're giving yourself a real good chance. And that's not a bad thing, is it? If Minnesota makes the playoffs, so let me tell you why. It might keep out a team that Philadelphia Eagles, the San Francisco 49ers.
Maybe.
Right? I mean, that's the type of thing. So, yeah, do what you have to do. Make sure you take your 2 L's. You know, take your L coming up this Sunday and take your L when you come to Detroit. But, how could anybody argue with that? I think the Detroit Lions are the most complete team out there.
When you get in the playoffs, quarterbacks are the matchup, right? Last year we played Matthew Stafford, played Baker Mayfield, you played Brock Purdy, and you hope to play Patrick Mahomes. If I told you we're playing Sam Darnold, anybody scared?
Not at all.
Anybody in this building scared?
Hey, line them up.
And what I've seen out of the Vikings, you're right. And I had the conversation with my mom on the ride home yesterday from the postgame show, and she was asking me what about the Vikings? They're 5-0. I'm like, yeah, they are.
Good
and
team.
I'm not going to tell you they're not. Yep. They're undefeated right now, and that's what they are. But the last couple of games, you saw them almost blow their lead to the Green Bay Packers. You've seen a lot of issues that can be exposed by a good team. And I don't think they've come across a really good team yet. Even when they beat the Texans, it was without Joe Mixon and some other key players for them. So, we going to see. That's the best part about sports. That's why you play the game. We going to see this Sunday.
Yeah. They second halves haven't looked so good, man. And
No.
I'll just say that. I've been watching them. But just want to acknowledge this poll real quick. After 361 votes, how should the Lions handle the Hutch injury situation? 55% said mortgage the future, and 44% said stay the course.
And that's fair. I mean, no one knows what the right answer is going to be.
No, you're right.
You can mortgage the future and not win a Super Bowl. You could stay the course and not win a Super Bowl. You could mortgage the future and win a Super Bowl. You could, time will tell what the right answer is, but I have faith that Brad Holmes is going to get us to the best possible situation there. But speaking of this, we got to figure out how to fill this gap. And if you're going to mortgage the future, who are you going to mortgage it for? Because I got a list here of potential defensive end. This is a great list. Thanks for finding it, Flannel. This was the exact tweet I was trying to re-find when it went out of my timeline. So let's just run down it and go through it. And KG, Sam, I want you guys involved with this because, Sam, you get pretty granular on some of these guys and know more about them than I do. I'll freely admit that. But let's start with Keon White from the Patriots. Okay. They're 1-5. White's a nice player. And let me preface this by saying there's maybe one or two guys that can be Aiden Hutchinson. We know everybody else is not going to completely fill the shoes, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I think we can freely – you're not going to find another Aiden Hutchinson.
Right.
What you're trying to do is stop the bleeding. That's what you're trying to do. Is Keon White the guy?
Yes, I think so. See, this brings up an interesting point, though, because I firm believer you're not going to replace Aiden Hutchinson. I think we all know that. You're not getting Aiden Hutchinson. Can I ask you guys a question that's been popping around in my brain? Would you rather go get a stud or would you rather go get two good guys? You could go get two good
guys, yeah.
You could go get two good guys. Where again, I'll use the same analogy that we used earlier, KG, where if I'm doing my work, that opens up some crap for you.
Yep.
If you doing your work, that opens up some crap for Flannel. If Stick is doing some work, that opens up some work for me. You know, we don't have to necessarily make the boom. That's the guy we're putting a circle up, using Max Crosby because his name's come up 10,000 times.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily have to get that guy. You don't have to say, well, we have to match impact and impact. You could go, I want a good piece, and a good piece is going to cost you. Make no mistake about that. And another good piece. And
Try to moneyball it?
yeah, to me, that's you're still going to be giving up. Look, you're still going to be giving up more than anybody wants to give up. That's just the reality of the situation the Lions find themselves in now. But does it have to necessarily be that one boom impact player, or could you get to Cliff Avrils, for example? You know, and that to me, that's what makes this so intriguing. But I don't know what you think about White. I think it'd be a great fit here.
It would be a great fit here, and I mean, just based off the
supporting
Lions.
the Whites. Let's go.
Yeah. Only this one time. Only this one time. But nah, seriously, the Lions' philosophy is that they don't chase the big names. I mean, look at how Brad Holmes is running this thing. He's came out and told you, hey, don't get your hopes up. You know, we're going to do this our way, but it might not be the names that you hope for. And in this scenario, I would take two good players. I mean, you might need two guys to kind of make up the one, person in Aiden Hutchinson that was doing so much for you. But if you can get two good guys out of this thing, I think that's absolutely more than enough that this defense needs to keep the train rolling.
Flannel, what do you think of Keon White?
I would love it. I question whether the Patriots would do it. He's a rookie contract guy. He seems like the type of guy who you'd want to rebuild with and maybe pay when his contract is up. But if they were willing to do it, I would do backflips for it. He's cheap.
Yeah, that rookie contract would be massive. All right, next on the list is Darius Smith. This is a guy I like for the Browns. The Browns are 1-5. Mm-hmm. They're in salary cap hell.
Yeah.
They need to rebuild. Probably the only way they're going to be able to do it is through the draft. So you could dangle some draft picks in front of him. It doesn't have to be a number one for this guy, though.
I'm sorry to get off path for a second. Do you know what I can't help but laugh because just a couple short years ago, do you know what people were talking about? The Cleveland Browns and the Detroit Lions.
I know, right?
Trajectory. It's like a thank you for that reminder. Sometimes you have to remind yourself how.
Well, you also got to remind yourself of Easy tweeting out that Jared Goff's the reason we can't acquire Deshaun Watson.
Well, you could do that too, but I mean, you understand. You like the Cleveland Browns were supposed to be the next big thing, and I remember when
How about that window again, Sean?
You got it, man. And do you remember when they beat Pittsburgh? When they beat Pittsburgh in the playoffs just a couple of years ago, man. I remember sitting there going, man, how cool would that be to totally decimate your tormentor for years? And I kept thinking to myself, could you imagine getting the Packers in the playoff? And doing to the Packers what the Browns just did to the wouldn't that be great? And 2 years later, the Browns are a disaster again, and the Detroit Lions are one of the teams out there. Yes, 100%. I agree with you. I think that is a could be had. I'm going to be intrigued at the price because, again, they're a team that, okay, we have to start over again, so the asking price might be a little high, but Always
See, I don't
kick
think
the
so.
tires.
I think now's the
With
time
him,
to
no.
pillage the Browns, right? They
Yeah.
got to get rid of Amari Cooper. They got to get rid of all their assets. I'm not saying we go get Amari Cooper. I'm just saying that they're in sell mode. They have to be in sell mode, and they have to be acquire picks mode because the only way they're going to get good players, they can't go out and sign anybody with that monster guaranteed contract to Deshaun Watson. And you think Deshaun Watson's going to tap out and be like, "You guys have the money back. I'm not playing well."
Do you know what I worry about, though? I worry about a bidding war. Like, that's it. Because you know what I would do if I'm another general manager? Oh, the Lions are interested. Hey, Browns, I got a little more for you.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little. That's what I worry about when you talk about a player of that caliber. At face value, absolutely, you're right. But I think if the great sell-off happens, hey, KG, what did Holmes offer you? Oh, that's it? I can do better than that.
Yeah.
That's what I worry about. And that isn't that the position that you know everybody kind of wants themselves. It's like Scooble, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you had all these phone calls. Well, you know what? I'm going to play that offer against that offer against that offer. And if there isn't one out there, well, we're going to keep them and we're going to go to the second round of the playoff.
It's with Zadarius Smith. I like the player, right? And, you know, he would be an impact player on this defensive line. I just worry about the age. You know, at this point, I don't know if I want to bring that in. And you also have to worry about the culture fit. Not to say that Zadarius Smith is like a problem player by any means, but you just don't know how he would fit in that culture. And just to state for I want the man on the other side of that Browns defensive line. And I know we're going to get into him, but
Myles Garrett.
yeah.
But you brought up I think an underlying factor that none of us really have a pulse on because it's just like draft night. Like we don't know who are Dan Campbell guys and who are Brad Holmes guys and how they operate within a teamwork setting and stuff like that. We can evaluate talent and know, hey, I'm just going to use Max Crosby as an example because I'm pretty sure he's a great effing teammate. But on the field, we can see the talent. I've never been in a locker room, and I don't know how his teammates feel about him.
Facts.
So, like, I know what I see, but I don't know those behind the thing. And so you don't know who's on their short list. That's what makes this so interesting. Yeah. It's like going into draft night with Brad Holmes. You don't know what their draft board looks like.
That's facts.
It does not look like anybody else's, and we know that from the results that we've seen in the players they've taken and the positions that they've taken them. Nobody had Jahmyr Gibbs going that high.
Right.
Nobody did.
And then with Zadarius Smith, the contract situation, he's not somebody I don't think you would sign long term. And then the draft capital comes into play. Is he just a rental? How much are you willing to mortgage for a rental? So it's like, you know, it's a difficult one there. Sam, you got any thoughts on this?
He's under contract for next year as well.
Okay.
And I know Zadarius Smith, he might not be somebody that moves the needle as much as some, but my underlying point, and I feel like it's going to be my stock answer for everything, is that right now, as currently constructed, the edge rushers aren't good enough. You not only lost Aiden Hutchinson, you have no Davenport, you have no Kaminsky. Who do you want? Josh Paschal as a guy you count on for 10 sacks? I know a lot of people thought I was hating on Josh Paschal, but my point is you got Paschal, you got Houston who can't touch the field, you've got Levi Onwuzurike who kind of plays inside and out. That's not good enough on a Super Bowl window. And I don't think Brad Holmes will just settle for that either, for the record. It's just as currently constructed, it's not good enough. And Zadarius Smith, he would look like an Aiden Hutchinson compared to the rest of the players.
That's why I keep saying this. Maybe, just maybe, the answer is getting yourself two good players as opposed to going and getting the great player. Like, because then
comes the question, though, is who's the other guy you're taking off the roster then?
It's a great question. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But this is a luxury that we have now.
Right.
The fact that we can have conversations like this kind of brings me an erection. I'm not going to lie. It's like I'm going to go like this now. I mean, really, the fact that we
don't have to hide it. We're all boys here. Just tuck it in your belt and go up to the chalkboard and write your name.
I don't know if I want to.
We all did that in school.
The fact that we can have these conversations now is fantastic, man.
It's amazing. We got to take a quick break. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more names on this list that could be potential Lions fill-ins at defensive end. I want to run through them pretty fast on this next segment. We'll give them 2 minutes each.
Cool.
2 minutes each. So that's 30 seconds each, round table for all of us. We'll do that, but first, who I got to tell them about?
The best merch in the sports game.
Oh, Woodward Sports. You got this Woodward varsity hoodie that I got on right now. This is one of the OG designs. It's still up there, along with the new stuff.
Boo Dem Kids.
Yeah, we got the Boo Dem Kids up there. I love when the chat gives us ideas for T-shirts. I still want to do that troll line of T-shirts, like golf has small hands. Stuff like that. Just like all the negative things, but if you want some cool stuff, support the city, support Woodward Sports, and we appreciate it. It's essential. Listen, their weights weigh the same as everybody else's weights. You go pick up a 50-pound weight in a $2,000 gym, it's the same weight of the $15 a month gym at Planet Fitness. It's crazy how physics work. Planet Fitness has figured it out, and they give you a much, much better price. So you're looking for a gym to attend where the weights weigh the same? Planet Fitness.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports. Detroit's winning sports network. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
I'm sorry. Easy's just making stuff up in the chat right now. The Woodward Sports pregame show. It is by far the best pregame show in America, and it's all because of Neil Rule and this man to my left right here, Sean Belizean. Make sure you're tuning in every Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon. And we get your game day going, and it's a great time. So be a part of the pregame show. Tap in with the boys every game day right here on Woodward Sports. Easy saying, remember when Stick called Gibbs a bust? Listen, I did not. I did not. And if you go back, Anson still has the video of draft night when they draft Gibbs. I am the only one in the room going, yes, yes, because I had written an article about I could see him being the best back out of that draft over Bijan Robinson. And turns out that conversation is yet to be determined, but Gibbs looking damn good, and I would never, ever. What I did say is I wouldn't draft a Corvette and set it in the driveway for a long time. But that also showed me how smart Dan Campbell is and how smart this coaching staff is and how they acclimate players to this game. They just don't throw out rookies, and once again, this is why my impulsive ass doesn't run the team, because I go by the vet. You know what I'm doing? I'm going down the lodge at 150 miles an hour. You know what they're doing? They're breaking in the first 100 miles, making sure the engine's right, making sure. Then they're going to floor it.
That's the beauty. I mean, this almost is like the JMO conversation I know Flannel and I had before the season started. He doesn't need to be a 1,500, 12-touchdown guy. That's the beautiful thing about it. He needs to be a weapon, and that's the same thing with Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't have to be Barry Sanders light. He doesn't. He doesn't have to be a 12, 1,300 guy with 13 touchdowns. Absolutely not. You know what? I want him to be that change of pace. I want him to be the yin to Montgomery's yang, and that's why this team, as constructed, it's been a masterclass on how to build a successful franchise. You can't say that enough about Brad.
It's been amazing to watch, honestly.
Phenomenal.
Him stealing Amon-Ra St. Brown in that draft with Penei Sewell, like that obviously was the catalyst for where we are. But when you can get an Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 4th round, you essentially got 2 first-round picks that draft.
Yeah.
You really did, and it's funny. I remember I was doing the draft shows at the time on Woodward with Scott.
Our first draft show down at the Del Mar.
We were like going crazy over Amon-Ra St. Brown. It was just like, why is he still on the board? And you know what? All those things that people said about him were fuel for him. And then that's the beautiful thing. Sometimes these guys, in their earnestness to be the smartest guy in the room, you kind of go into disrespectful territory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's what some of these draft beatniks do. And, boy, I'll tell you what, Amon-Ra took every bit of that and used every bit of it as fuel, and I love every second of it.
Well, welcome to Big D Energy. My name is Stick. I'm filling in for Neil Rule today. That is Sean Belizean filling in for Darren McCarty. They both will be here tomorrow. We got KG and Flannel Sam here on the ones and twos. If you're new to Woodward Sports, thank you for joining us. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you smash that like button as well. But yeah, we're going down the list of potential defensive ends that could help stem the tide with Aiden Hutchinson. I'm not gonna use the word replace. You can't replace him.
Amen.
Yeah.
You can't.
You can't.
Sorry.
You just can't. Trayvon Walker. This would be interesting.
Hard pass.
This would be an interesting pick. Interesting pickup. I mean, the Jaguars 1-5, season dirt. Trevor Lawrence not walking on water like everybody told me he would.
I think the fact that you brought up his name just automatically shows you we made the right draft choice during that draft.
That's interesting. I mean, if you go back and then you're going to give us, what, 2 of the top 3 picks in that draft?
Yeah.
Yeah? What you thinking, Sean?
All right. Yeah, and I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
No, listen, I'm going to tell you why. I think a lot of times he might be a change of scenery guy. Mm-hmm. He might be a change of scenery.
He got drafted by Urban Meyer.
Right? Really, he has seen nothing but disaster. He's seen nothing but disaster. But with that being said, KG, this is where I'll kind of lean towards your side. What's the price tag we're talking?
Yeah.
What if you want to sell him to me and you're asking for a lot, then I'm going to go into the hard pass category. But if we're having reasonable conversations, Flannel, I don't know about you. At that point in time, I'm a firm believer. I think we've seen it way too many times in the National Football League that sometimes change of scenery is very, very important. Just one man's opinion.
That's all well and good, and I agree with you. The thing that I want to add to that is, no, Trayvon Walker, he's not as consistently impactful and disruptive as an Aiden Hutchinson, but he's pretty good. He had 10 sacks last year. He has 5 in 6 games this season, and he's on a rookie contract for.
You got it.
And if you want to give him his 5th-year option, you've got him for this year, next year, and the year after that. The question, though, is does that make the price for him, what you'd have to trade for him, steeper? Because at this point, why would – I know Jacksonville looks like they're a dumpster fire right now, and they're about to fire Doug Peterson, but why would they do that? That's the question I would ask. So, yes, I would take Trayvon Walker. I would do backflips for Trayvon Walker, something I never thought I'd say, but I'm saying it right now.
Yeah, if that would have happened draft night, you would have done something else
Right.
for Trayvon
Yes,
Walker.
yes.
The number 1 and 2
Bad
picks
things.
from that draft on our defensive line is crazy.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
That would be insane. All right, next on this list, the Titans sitting at 1-4. Got a guy named Harold Landry on the squad. Solid player. Once again, I'm gonna start giving percentages. This guy's maybe 50% of Hutch.
Sure.
50%.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Can we get 250%? So again, you know what? I keep coming back to that because this isn't just a Hutch issue. Flannel, I couldn't agree with you more. This was, whether we want to admit it or not, it was less than before Hutch went out. And I think we're going to see how important Hutch was, KG.
Yeah.
Now, with him being out, all of a sudden, I think that hole is going to look a lot larger.
No, it definitely will. But at least in the case of Harold Landry, he has played with our defensive line coach, Terrell Williams. And we've already seen just in this past game, Kyle Pecco, somebody else who's played with Terrell Williams, make an impact on that defensive line. So I'm not necessarily mad, at that pick. You probably can get him for a cheaper price. He's not a premier name, but a solid defensive end that can come in and kind of fill that void for you.
This is a side note that CT Squid brought up that I think is important and the ruthless part of the business. You don't have to pay Hutch like they were planning on next year.
Yeah.
That money is now in the bank.
Yeah.
And as bad as it is, because you're not gonna pay him a max contract coming off an injury. He's gonna have to do a prove-it year. He's gonna have to come back, even though he's the heart and soul of the team. It is business still. So that money's freed up now. That money can go elsewhere. Not a pretty part, not a conversation I'd like to have. I would prefer that money to go to a healthy Aiden Hutchinson, but he ain't a healthy Aiden Hutchinson right now. So that
You said it. This is time and time again, man. This is a business. I think this is a situation. if you don't take care of your guys, and unfortunately this is a franchise that has done that in the past, they established a reputation for themselves, okay? And that reputation lived for many years. And there were the things that we all saw, the wanting the money back from Barry, the wanting the money back from Calvin, and there were the things that we didn't see. And the things that we didn't see were more damning. You talk to a lot of ex-Lions, okay? This franchise had a reputation.
Yep.
They have flipped that reputation.
Well, I mean, look at just this offseason. You pay Penei Sewell. You pay Amon-Ra
got
St.
it.
Brown. You pay Jared Goff. You just re-upped Monty last week. So even if when they don't pay Aiden Hutchinson, they're not going to look like the bad guys.
100.
They don't look like the stiffs.
That's what
they
I'm
look
getting
like,
at.
okay, they have to do this, and I feel bad that they're like they've given themselves the benefit of the doubt to not be the dicks for not paying him for an injury.
100%. And anybody with half a brain in their head would go, there's a difference between shafting a guy and a difference between going, man, that really sucks for the guy. Big difference. It's the cheap thing. It's the letting guys walk away. It's the haggling over small things. It's the asking back, signing bonuses from legends, et cetera, et cetera. Those days appear to be gone, and thus the Detroit Lions have changed their reputation as such.
All right, next man on this list.
All right.
Buckle up, boys. Max Crosby. We had to bring him up. It's the pipe dream, right?
Yeah.
But it's also the expensive dream. Like, if you want Max, you're going to have to give up a lot. And this goes back to the poll we've had in the chat, which is awesome that it's 50-50 because nobody really knows what the right thing to do is. We can have our opinions, but nobody knows what the right thing to do is. Max Crosby, obviously we want him. Yes.
Yeah.
What are you willing to give up to get him is the question.
It's a good question, too.
2 first rounds.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Hooker and Hendon Hooker. That's what I think is going to happen.
I'd have a conversation like that.
See, Stick, I hate to be that guy. If I'm putting Hendon Hooker in the deal, you only getting 1 first-round pick. Maybe I can give you a second and Hendon Hooker, but
Hendon Hooker's not worth a first-round pick, guys.
He
was a third-round pick originally.
I understand
the stock hasn't gone
but
up that much.
We all have to change our brains, though, okay? Because you know what we think when we hear first-round pick? You know what we think?
Yeah. Say it. Bring it up.
We think higher.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
I
true.
said this exact thing last night, Sean.
Do you know what? Do you know what?
Our first-round pick's 30th.
Oh, darn. We gave up the 30th and 31st pick in the draft. That sucks.
But 30th and 31st to Brad Holmes is something different. So that's the only angle I'm looking at it from. That is your GM's best attribute is drafting players.
Here's how I put it into perspective last night, right? What would you have given up to move up to number 2 to get Aiden Hutchinson? Would you have given up the 30th, the 62nd, and another 30th to move up to number 2 overall?
Maybe.
And that kind of puts a different mind thought on the perspective of it. Because if I'm doing that same thing to move up to get Max Crosby, I'm okay with it when you view it like that. Because you're saying you're giving away 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
But you're not including that you're getting back one of, like, Max Crosby, who you would kill to get in the first round. So you're really only giving up 1 first-round pick because you're getting value back for 1.
True, but to push back, you got to look at the fact that, okay, your rookie contract players are starting to have to be paid.
Yep.
So eventually you are going to have a new round of talent in here because you can't keep everybody. I know we keep, thinking that, we can, and for to Brad Holmes' credit, he's been able to keep a good majority of our players, but you cannot keep everyone. And that's where I don't want to give up the draft.
Well, you know what's cool? Then I don't have to worry about paying a first-round guy for a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about that. That drop-off to the second round is huge. I want to go back to the Stafford Goff deal for just a second, okay? Just a second.
Do you want to be the Rams?
No, seriously. Do you know what was huge about that? Is the day that was announced, I don't know how anybody could dislike the deal that day, regardless of your feelings on Jared Goff. And I was one of those guys. Here it comes again, Stick. I did not think he'd get it back. I didn't, okay? The key to that deal, though, for me, was the Rams got what they wanted. That's a rare win-win. The Rams got what they wanted. They got their Super Bowl. And then fell flat on their face the next year. And all of a sudden, that went from a 31 pick to, what was it, 11? I don't remember off the top of my
It was
head.
like
but
20,
yeah,
21 or something.
It was beautiful. They fell flat on their face, and we said, come on, come to Papa, come to Papa. And you couple that with the Lions having a less than year as well, it was a beautiful thing, and that was key. If I'm giving up a 30, a 31, now with this being said, and we can't guarantee this, I don't give it. If you win the Super Bowl, I don't
throw it all
care.
out the window.
I don't.
But
you
would have to do that at that point.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
absolutely.
have to.
Yeah,
You have
like
to.
Otherwise-
there's no.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sam, what you feel about this? We ain't got your input.
But this is what makes greatness, right? Like,
Yeah.
you got to swing the bat.
You got to swing the bat. And as I said before, something like an Aiden Hutchinson injury, we're staring it right in the face. Things like this happen in the NFL. You can't just sit on your hands. The Detroit Lions, the team that I saw last night when Aiden Hutchinson was playing, is the best team in the NFL. Not the Kansas City Chiefs, the Detroit Lions. That's coming from me.
Honestly, like,
Yes.
Flannel Sam saying that means
Yeah,
something.
it
That's
does.
not just hyperbole.
Yes. But without him, with standing pat, which I don't think Brad Holmes will do, by the way, with standing pat, I question, and a lot of people didn't like this, and I think a lot of people won't like this again, I question if they stand pat, if they'll even win the NFC North. You got to make a swing. And there's levels to this. You see the list. There's guys ranging from Keon White, who's super cheap and on a rookie contract, to Max Crosby. You don't even necessarily have to get Max Crosby, but you've got to at least get on the phone and at least try to make something happen, even if you do have to give up a pick or two.
All right, I knew Crosby was going to bog down the conversation.
yes.
Like, I wanted to
Yeah.
spend 2 minutes on everybody, but it's just so damn sexy to think about. It
Oh, yeah.
really is. Like, you got a shot.
Yeah,
Shoot your shot.
I'm not mad at it.
You know, one of my favorite life philosophies, the worst they can say is no.
Yep.
Like, no, we're not taking that offer. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Jadeveon Clowney, Michigan wrecker, one
Oh,
of the
man.
best hits ever in college football when Jadeveon Clowney decided to play one play. Panthers are sitting at 1-5, but that's the knock on Clowney, right? He's never going to give you 100% effort. I don't view him as a Dan Campbell guy.
Yeah, I just don't know how he fits the culture. And just also the injury history with him has been vast as well. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it if they went and did it. You know, I'm not going to scoff at it by any means. He's still a serviceable player in this league. But he's not going to give you the type of impact that you're really looking for if you're trying to make a Super Bowl run.
That's why I say I would include that name in the two conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
If you
There
give
go.
me Jadeveon Clowney then I think we can have a conversation. I don't think that he's the impact player. He hasn't been for a few years. But if you give me one more chance, I want one more chance at a ring, and I don't have to give up too much, I don't have any problem with it. Flannel, you're giving me the look like you want nothing to do with it. I'm intrigued.
I want everything to do with it.
Oh!
To the contrary.
Okay.
No way.
All right, Sam.
Believe it or not, I am what you would call a Jadeveon Clowney truther.
He is.
He has been much better in his career than people give him credit for. He's had 4 seasons of 9 or more sacks, including last year, and he's cheap. And I believe you'd have him under contract for next year. Bring Jadeveon Clowney home. Regardless, I would have said this with Aiden Hutchinson in the lineup. He's somebody I wanted them to target, and they didn't get.
That's why I'm saying Clowney and.
That's
I
fair,
don't want
yes.
just I want Clowney and you make me happy.
But what do you think about the knock on him? He takes plays off. Like, he doesn't give full effort. And that's been a knock on him since college.
It has been.
College, it was kind of the exception. It was like, well, the guy's just out there dominating. He's bored. But then he gets to the NFL, and it's still the knock on him. That is not what will fit in the locker room.
I understand, and I understand there's also, you see some seasons where he's far less productive than the 9.5 sacks. Last season on a defense like Baltimore, and obviously a strong culture led by John Harbaugh, the Ravens are obviously a great organization. He thrived. I think that's somebody who you get him in Allen Park, you get him playing under Aaron Glenn, from Brad Holmes to the top, to Sheila, to Dan Campbell. I think he will fit right in and play his hardest on damn near every play. Not everybody can be an Aiden Hutchinson and have the greatest motor I've ever seen, but you can go hard most of the time. It's better than what we have.
Do you know what this reminds me of, though? I hate to go in the Wayback Machine, but Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man, the day that Rasheed Wallace came to Detroit, people were losing their shit.
Yeah.
Trust me.
As they should have.
And you know what? I kind of, my mindset.
I was losing my shit.
My mindset that day was this, though. You know, when in Rome, you do as the Romans do. okay? That stuff ain't going to work here. If he comes here, and I don't know his baggage, like you said, I don't know his baggage. I've heard that he takes plays off, and I've heard this thing, that, and the other thing. But when in Rome, you act as the Romans do. How well do you think that kind of stuff will go over here? I have a feeling he'd fall in line pretty quickly. I do. I have a feeling he'd fall in line pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's why when we bring up Max Crosby, I see that as the Sheed move. You know, the tattooed guy, the big attitude, like the boisterous. I see him as that guy. And God, I love Sheed when he was with Portland, and when we got him here, it was, whew, like the two biggest signings in Detroit sports in my eyes were Rasheed Wallace and Pudge Rodriguez.
Facts.
Free agents coming in.
It's hard to argue.
Well, they had to trade for Sheed. He wasn't a free agent, but you know what I mean. Like the biggest splash, didn't start the team. Like
that Rams pick, by the way, was 6th. Remember, it was 6, and they made the deal with the Cardinals to fall back to 12 to take Gibbs. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, it was.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Because again, like I said, the Rams got what they wanted. The Rams got what they wanted. They got their Super Bowl, and then fell flat on their face. It was number 6, man. And then they made the deal to fall back to 12, and a lot of people out there not stick. What are you doing? You grabbing Jahmyr Gibbs at 12. What a horrible move. You turned number 6 into Jahmyr Gibbs, and we know how that is working.
Well, that was one of the times where, you know, the Lions always tried to be the smartest in the room, but now we actually are.
Yeah.
It's real nice.
Yeah.
You know.
Good call.
We got to take a quick break, but let's hit these two names. Let's hit these two names first.
Yeah,
go
ahead.
Because we got 5 minutes to break, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Well, I think we missed a break, but it's fine. We can keep it.
All right, Byron Young, the Rams. They're 1-4. Rams season not looking great. Byron Young is available. Another 50% guy maybe. Like, helps, but I don't think changes, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I wouldn't be mad at Byron Young because, you know, they did draft Jared Verse over there too. So I think that, you know, maybe he's kind of fallen out of favor. They got Kobe Turner on that defensive line as well. So, I mean, he's expendable. And I wouldn't mind taking a shot at him. He's young. It's somebody that you can extend if he performs. So, I'm not necessarily mad at that.
I hate to sound like a broken record. He's a change of scenery guy. I think because of the circumstances that you just said, maybe he's a change of scenery guy. Flannel?
Yes, bring Byron Young home. If the Rams are willing to do it. You brought up something interesting. They got themselves Braden Fisk and Jared Verse, so maybe they're willing to part with one of their edge rushers and maybe flip it for a Lions draft pick.
I mean,
to get
you know,
somewhere.
Brad Holmes can call and have a friendly conversation.
Absolutely, he can.
Cheap rookie contract, 2 more years.
Hey,
bring
the
Byron
last
Young
time
home.
we did a deal, it worked out for both of us.
Yeah,
There
might
we
as
go,
well.
boys. Look at
Might
that.
as well.
All right, Dennis Gardick, Cardinals. They're 2-4. The Cardinals are the Cardinals. I honestly don't know much about this guy.
I don't either.
I'm not going to speak too much because I don't like being ignorant. So, Sam?
Yes.
I'm leaning on you.
I know what I read. You know, I mean, really, I know what I read about him, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Yep. Bring Dennis Gardeck home. I feel like I'm a broken record. I'm saying yes to
Bring
everything.
him all
But you have to
home.
understand, Aiden Hutchinson just got hurt, so you can't really blame me. He's cheap. He's been the best pass rusher on the Cardinals for the last couple of seasons. He's more of like an outside linebacker, a pass rush specialist type. But he did get a pick against the Lions earlier this season, so maybe he's more versatile. I don't think the Cardinals are in a hurry to get rid of somebody like him. But if they do, bring Dennis Gardeck home.
I like that. And then one last one on this list. We brought up the name. People wanted him here last year. They didn't go get him. Now he's with the New Orleans Saints after leaving the 49ers, which is exactly why I didn't want to go get him last year. You gave up a third-round pick for 6 games of a guy who wasn't going to re-sign with you.
Yeah.
Chase Young, 2-4 with the Saints. You go get Chase Young.
I'm good. And it's kind of to your point with Jadeveon Clowney. I feel like Chase Young is more of a problem than Jadeveon is, like by a mile. But he's somebody that's been known to take plays off. He's somebody that's, you know, when he's healthy, he's okay, but he can also be inconsistent. So I just don't know what that would look like long-term in this culture, in this Lions culture. I don't think he's the best fit for our locker room, but that's just me.
Am I getting him for a third-round pick? Then absolutely. 100% yes. And then I can go do an and one. Then I can go get Jadeveon Clowney.
Ooh.
If you're talking to me that way, then I can do my and. You know what's the price? And obviously we don't know the answer to that, and that's why we're kind of having these open-ended conversations.
Yeah.
But with that in play, it's the same thing. I don't think you're asking a guy to come here and be a part of the culture forever. Chances are he's probably going to go chase the money elsewhere and everything. But for the rest of this season, to leave a situation in New Orleans, okay, he's going to be happy as a pig in crap. He has to see Spencer Rattler out on the field, for goodness sake. You know? So yeah, you mean I get to come to a winner? I get to go back to a winner again? Okay, count me in. So, Flannel, I would do it.
Bring him home, Flannel.
This is a tough one because I just said bring Dennis Gardeck home, and I think Chase Young at his ceiling is a better player. However, if there's one guy on this list I would say no to, it's Chase Young because he is one of the more expensive ones, and trusting him to come in here, like if you could guarantee Chase Young and Jadeveon Clowney, I would do it. But if you think Chase Young is that difference-maker move, yes, he would be better than what they have now. But he's not somebody that I think you can count on to go in and be a consistent disruptor and get, 7 sacks or so in the last 12 games. I don't see that from him. And he's not worth the price to me. I like him as a player. I like what he provided for the 49ers last season as a bookend to Bosa. But as the main guy, I'll pass.
I
like that
want
take.
An and. I want
like that
two
take.
ands. I'm telling you, I want.
That's the caveat. Give me Clowney and Young, and I'll take it.
Oh yeah, all day, all day long. That's different.
Those are the solutions, and there's also one thing we didn't talk about. Let's take a break, and we'll talk about it right after this.
Ooh, look at that. Elite.
Yeah, you like
Elite.
that? Woodward Sports, we are live from Feldman and Novi. Who we got, KG?
Hey, we got the Dispo, man.
Oh, the Dispo. I mean, everybody's wondering what the hell Flannel Sam's wearing on his shirt. Well, it's a strand at the Dispo.
Yeah, and he doesn't smoke. But
I actually got a bag in my car right now. We'll have some fun. But Dispo, it's where you want to go. You want to save some money. There's a QR code. You click on it. You go to Dispo. You save. They got a great selection. When I'm telling you the prices are unreal, the prices are unreal. When we used to hustle back in the day, we wouldn't believe that the Gans were going to be this low. But here they are. No more Reggies. We're here in the prime, and it's costing less than Reggies. Who would have thought this day would ever come in America? So proud of it.
We ain't got no Reggies in insurance either. Tell us about Swiss.
Oh, Reggie Bo? We don't mess around no more. You see that with Trick? Yeah. Insurance. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it? Is this Mark?
Yeah, Mark.
I don't have the screen in front. Well, obviously, when you're talking insurance, there's only one guy you can be talking about.
Yeah.
That's Mark at SwissINS.com. And if you want, I love to do this with everybody watching right now. If you're sitting at a computer at work or whatever, pull up your email. Email Mark at SwissINS.com right now. You can tell him hello. You can tell him the prediction for Monday Night Football tonight. You can tell him how long you think Aiden Hutchinson's going to be out. Whatever you want to email the guy, just let him know you're watching Woodward Sports. Flood his email right now. Mark at SwissINS.com.
No nasty pics.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. To prove that you can get just as strong at Planet Fitness, we're seeing if people can tell the difference between our 75-pound dumbbell and a 75-pound dumbbell from an overpriced competitor gym. Okay, the old flick test that never fails.
There's literally no difference.
Plus, you can save $28 or more when you join today. Wow.
Why would I pay more to lift the same weights?
It's the Planet Fitness Strong Choice Sale. Save $28 or more. Join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. Planet Fitness. Light price, strong choice.
The countdown to kickoff is here. Your Detroit Lions are ready for another season of grit. Woodward Sports is your #1 destination for all breaking news and Lions coverage. We are Detroit's #1 sports network. We are Woodward Sports.
You know Lions game day starts and ends right here at Woodward Sports, and you got to start it with Woodward in Maine. Detroit media legend Terry Foster sits down with Matthew Broder every single game day morning starting at 8 a.m., and they do Woodward in Maine, and then they follow it up like they do the day after at 7 a.m., with the early show, getting you all the Lions stuff that you need to pump into your veins. It's a fun show. I love hearing Terry talk. I love just his vocabulary and how he articulates things. One of my favorite writers of all time. Terry Foster, legend, teaming up with Matthew Broder, so make sure you check that out. And then the pregame show, when it's a home game, we're live downtown at Second Best with this guy right here, Sean Belesian. He sits there with his bottle of Tullamore Dew, protects it with his life, and Neil Rule and him do a great pregame show. So make sure you're a part of the game day activities right here on Woodward Sports.
Yep, shout out Sabbath Coffee as well. But tell us about Soroki's.
Oh, Soroki's, man. The chicken, the biscuits, the chicken and the biscuits, the pizza. Just all those lemon pepper wings have become like crack to me every time I see them. I don't care how full I am. I'm eating some lemon pepper wings. They're so damn good. Go to Soroki's. They're popping up at gas stations all over Metro Detroit. There's one. I passed one on my way by. I think I passed the original one on Wixom Road on the way here, too. So shout out to Soroki's. Great food. Go get you some. All right, welcome back to Big D Energy. We are live. Feldman Chevrolet in Novi, the #1 Chevy dealer in the country, which means they're the #1 Chevy dealer in the world, which means they're the #1 Chevy dealer in the universe. Think about that. No one on Mars is outselling them.
That's fact.
In the universe.
Never lost.
Not once, ever.
Ever?
This is Big D Energy. My name is Stick, filling in for Neil Rule. He will be back tomorrow. He was calling the Pistons game in California over the weekend, so he's catching a flight right now. Not feelings, just catching the flight. And then we got Sean Belesian filling in for Darren McCarty. We swapped out hockey guys. And then we got KG and Flannel Sam in here. So we just went over all the potential bodies that could help replace or supplement a replacement of Aiden Hutchinson. The one thing we didn't mention, I teased this before the break, they don't make a move.
Whoa.
I don't like that at all.
You got James Houston, who now will have his chance to be the guy that we all thought he was going to be after the end of his rookie season.
Psych.
You have a unified locker room that is galvanizing around the win one for the Gipper mentality. You have a team that you already know is gelled. You have a secondary that is much improved, so you don't have to rely on your pass rush as much. Is that a viable option for the Detroit Lions? And if they stay pat, are you comfortable?
No. Last year it was acceptable to me. It was. And I know a lot of people didn't do it. And if you remember, I mean, whether people want to admit it or not, a year ago at this time, people were saying, this team isn't serious about winning and all of those things. I didn't lose my mind over it last year. I would lose my mind over it this year for two reasons. Number one, now you don't have Aiden Hutchinson, okay? And oh, by the way, not just Aiden Hutchinson, next level Aiden Hutchinson. And I'll go back to what we talked about earlier, guys, and if I come across as cocky, I couldn't give two shits. The Detroit Lions are the best team in the NFC.
Facts.
They're the best team in the NFC. You know what? Hedge your bet. You should hedge your bet. When last year it was more debatable. Whether we wanted to admit it or not, it was more debatable. Did we think we could beat Did we think we could beat the Rams? Yeah, we did. In the back of our head, I think we all had a little, at the time, Philadelphia Eagle fear, and we know what happened there. I did in particular, and San Francisco 49er fear. I think the circumstances are different. I think you're taking out a different player from this team than you had in the lineup last year. He's even better, and this team is better. So to me, I'm a hedge the bet guy. I think Brad Holmes absolutely, positively has to make moves. Singular.
So the fact
Not
that
singular.
even though they played an entire second half without him,
Yes.
and the defense looked outstanding,
Yes.
they were still able to get pressure. They were still able to look like a functioning defense,
Yes.
and that's in the moment of losing him, right? Now they're going to have weeks of preparation. They're going to have schematics in place to run more stunts, do some more things that they weren't doing because you have the anvil in Aiden Hutchinson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of talking myself into this right now. I feel that.
Well, you know, part of it-
I
You're
wouldn't be flip the table mad if they didn't make a move.
Part of it yesterday was they were also playing the mentally weak Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
You know as well as I do, the wind blows too hard, and all of a sudden they hang their heads, and they're all sitting around waiting for Dak to do something Dak. You know what I mean? I mean, really, that's kind of the routine. But I'm with you. Last year, I wasn't. Man, people lost their minds. I was working with Lomas at the time, and people were going crazy, and Lomas and I were going, maybe we're wrong. I mean, with the anger that people were going at it.
No.
This year's different.
Yeah, I remember Spenny and Easy were going nuts that they didn't go out and get Chase Young and stuff like that. And
I didn't feel it last year. I didn't. This year's different. Taking Aiden out of the equation, this year's different.
And
yeah,
look, last year they got to the NFC Championship game with arguably the worst secondary in football. So could they not make a move? I guess you could say that, but your front four is different from your secondary. If you're giving quarterbacks 8 to 10 seconds back there, we've seen how that will incinerate this team. So they got to have some type of pass rushing presence, consistent pass rushing presence back there. So I don't think you can rest on this trade deadline. You got the cap space to go make a move. Why not go make a move, even if it's just a rental?
Yeah, I'm just to the point, though, where I'm at on draft night now, where I'm no longer excited for the draft. Like, I just know we're going to get somebody good. You know, like, it's
Isn't that cool?
The
It's a
trust,
good point.
right, the trust is there. I'm not like, I need to get my guy, and if we don't get him, it's all over. It's like, oh, that's not the way I'd go, but Brad Holmes I trust. So if Brad Holmes elects not to make a move, I'm not going to be upset about it.
It's kind of funny because I think we're also in luxury pick territory where we have never been in our lives, where sometimes you kind of make that move, well, because you can. You know, where is there a greater need probably elsewhere in draft time? Well, you could make that argument. But this is a luxury pick because you got enough. And I think this doesn't apply as a luxury situation. You just took out one of the best, if not the very best in the game. And that is that step that he graduated to this year. You don't have the luxury right now. This is a need. This is a need on a Super Bowl caliber team. Legitimately Super Bowl caliber need. There was already a need there, okay? Now the need has gone like that because you took out the biggest piece of it. Gosh, you have to. I think you have to.
So let's play the game, though. Let's play the game they don't make a move. Who's the guy that needs to step up? Is it James Houston? Is it Josh Paschal? Is it Levi? I mean, who's got to be the defensive line guy that steps up for the Lions if they don't make a move? Flannel?
You know, I'm looking at Flannel.
I love watching his facial expressions.
Yeah. I'd love to play poker with Flannel. I would love poker. I take money from you all night.
He giving it up.
You are just giving me your hands left and right, Flannel.
What level can this James Houston circa 2024 go to? I understand in 2022 he was a pass rushing demon. Like, in terms of a per snap basis, it was unlike anything we've ever seen, at least with the Lions. And hell, in the NFL, his efficiency. When you look at Josh Paschal, it's like, yeah, he's a really nice, potentially rotational guy on the defensive line and the edge. You look at Levi Onwuzurike, he's a guy who's kind of versatile as well. But that's what you're rolling with. With like an Isaac Uku as well. That's what you're rolling with on a Super Bowl roster.
Got it.
I understand that losing Aiden Hutchinson, if the Lions didn't make the Super Bowl, you'd almost not look at that as that's not an excuse, that's a reason. But if
who's
there's an
stepping up, Sam?
I mean, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters, like, those guys stepping up. If there was one, I'd probably say Josh Paschal, but what can he do? Like, what level can he go to? He's fine.
I think they're all ands. I really do. I think they're all ands. If I had to pick one, I'll go with Houston. How's that? Maybe there's a level there that he hasn't shown us. I don't know.
We're hoping he gets back to the level he did show.
I don't think he will.
That's the point that I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think he will, because it seems like the team has given up on him. I mean, he's on the depth chart, the immediate backup to Hutch, and we haven't seen him at all through 6 weeks of football. So I can't sit here and say that James Houston is the person that, will pick up the mantle and keep this train rolling. And if I had to pick one, I'm sorry, I can't. All of them have to step up. Levi Josh Paschal, Mekhi Wingo, they've played him on the edge as well. Maybe you see a little bit of him over there. Kyle Pecco, I don't know, but if in the event that, Hutch is not coming back for the season, which he isn't, everyone on that defensive line has to step up.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, at least with one guy, you saw that there was a level there. I'm going to say it again. I'm playing along with you, Stick. You said you have to pick one. So, but
no,
if
Mac,
I don't
Mac
have,
Walker brought up a good point in the chat. It's who are the guys, not the guy.
Yeah, to me, this is, I keep saying this. It's ands. Okay,
Yeah.
you got him and you got him and we have this here, and I'm going to go and add this, and I'd like to add that. I think there are a couple bodies. That you need to bring in here. But I cannot imagine Brad Holmes standing pat. I just
Not
I
with
can't-
this much cap.
I
No.
can't. Not with that. This is why you protect yourself and you put yourself in a position like this. I can't.
But
imagine
it's got to take two to dance, though, right?
there's
and
no
Brad,
doubt about that.
I think we all know that Brad Holmes isn't a guy that's gonna do something outside his comfort zone just because he has to.
True. But it
So-
was rumored last year that they did try to pursue
They
Danielle
tried,
Hunter.
but this is the
So,
same thing.
I'm just
he
saying.
could go try to run down that list. We all did. But if he has his buying price and it doesn't reach the selling price, he could just walk away on all of it, guys.
That's facts.
These are different circumstances this year too. This is. Can I use the poker analogy again? I would go like this.
Yeah, I'm all in.
I would have no problem pushing the pot. And first, I'd look at Flannel's face.
Yeah.
And then he'd start to giggle just like
All
that.
right,
That's
that's a good move. That's a
Your
good move.
ass is mine. And I'd put all that money in, and he'd flop a pair of twos, and I'd be a rich man.
All I'm saying with all of this is that it's not the most shameful thing in the world if you say at the end of the year a Hutch injury cost us a Super Bowl. That would be a reason, not an excuse. But it's early enough in the season that you can at least make an attempt to do something about it.
Listen, if this team's downfall is because one player's not on it, Brad Holmes hasn't done his job.
But it's Aiden Hutchinson.
I get who it is. If it's Jared Goff, you know I love.
Right.
Well,
that would be a big loss, but you'd still expect Hendon Hooker to come in and make this a palatable offense.
That's what I brought up earlier. Listen, again, no disrespect to your boy. Aiden Hutchinson is the best player on this team. Let's be honest. He is. He's the best player on this team.
Maybe not the most important.
The most
best.
important
Yeah.
person is Jared Goff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer. I'm sorry. You take out a starting quarterback and you kiss your season goodbye. I know there are exceptions. I know that Hostetler did it back in the day with the Giants. I know that Foles did it. More often than not, you take your quarterback out. Bye-bye. Thanks for playing. You might get away with it to get yourself into the playoff depending on what time it happened, but make no mistake about it. Aiden's their best. You take Goff out, that's something I don't want to think about that. I don't even thank you. Sending shivers down my spine thinking about that. Can the Lions win a Super Bowl without Aiden Hutchinson? If they go get two ands, they go get two ands. They put it in. I absolutely they can. Absolutely they can. You give me two good defensive linemen, not great, two good defensive linemen that maybe in turn can make this unit better. Can the Lions still win a Super Bowl? I say yes. I think for sure. To me, this was about winning the NFC this year. This was about winning the NFC. I hate to say it again. You can get mad at me. I know you've heard me say it. I think Kansas City is going to do what we never saw before. I hope I'm wrong. I do. I just watch that team every gosh damn week.
Yeah.
Every gosh damn week find a way. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, they haven't played their best football and they're undefeated. So it's
kind of like what you're talking about with the Lions. It's a good problem to have, and that's why I put the Lions in that rarefied air, right? You know, the Lions earlier this year, let's face it, the Cardinal game. Ho-hum. Well, at what point in time in that game were you afraid? Really? At what
the
point?
Cardinals never had the ball with the ability to take the lead.
I never thought they
Ever.
were. And Lions didn't look good that game. Let's be honest. So that's where we're at right now. But yes, to win the NFC, yes, for sure. Even with Hutch being gone, yes. You go get a couple guys, yes.
I love the creative guys. We had a guy call into the postgame show last night. He's like, you know what? We need to add more to the defensive backfield. We need to bring in a shutdown corner. Like that's the solution to losing Hutch.
Right.
I'm like,
Shout out James. From
who you
Kansas
taking
City.
off right now? Like, you're going to take out Kirby. You're going to take out Branch. You're going to take out TA. You're going to take out Carlton Davis. Like, so at best, you're looking at bringing in elite nickelback, and that's going to solve the Aiden Hutchinson issue?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the solution. I saw someone in the chat say Jack Campbell, move him to edge. I don't think that's the solution. But listen, I like how people are getting creative, though. I really do, because Creative problems need creative solutions. This is a big problem. We all know it's a shell game to try to fill this gap. We've all admitted there isn't one guy you can bring in as your saving grace. Maybe a Max Crosby is that guy. But outside of that and getting Bosa or a Watt to unretire, it ain't happening. Aiden Hutchinson's not walking through that door for another year.
Guys, you give me a disruptor on the line over a shutdown anytime. You give me a disruptor on the line over a shutdown anytime. One undeniable truth we have learned in the National Football League: if you give a quarterback time to throw, he's going to pick you apart.
Yeah.
No
matter how good your secondary is.
That's the way it is. You give him time. Tony Dungy said it about 10 years ago, and then you had a bunch of 3-year Letterman out there that said, defense still wins Super Bowls. What are you talking about? This game has changed so much, the way it's called, the way it's officiated. You know what the NFL is today? What can your quarterback do to the opposition, and how can you make the opposition's quarterback's life miserable? He hit the nail on top of the head. I want to make that quarterback's life miserable. I want him to fear every opportunity. Somebody's going to come from the backside. Somebody's going to come up the middle. No quarterback likes pressure, okay? The way quarterbacks deal with it are two different things. Pressure on a quarterback. And that I think the Lions can do that, no doubt about it. And again, this is where the guys will tell you, when I hear the word we have to manufacture pass rush, I cringe. I can't stand it. No, you want it organically. You want that pass rush to just come.
In an ideal world, of course.
Yes, absolutely. So that, to me, you add a couple disruptors up there, I think that opens up some things all across the board. I do.
Well, the problem's going to be addressed, or it may not be addressed.
Maybe not.
I mean, if they don't make a move before they go play Minnesota, I don't see them pressing to make a move quickly before the trade deadline. They may get one in before the trade, but I don't see this being – like, if the move isn't made in the next 2 days – I don't see this being a knee-jerk reactionary move that they're making. I see they're just going to wait and see what happens over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
I disagree. The trade deadline is what, week 8? I think they got time to figure out a move and then execute. I wouldn't be surprised if they waited an hour until the trade deadline is over and then the deal is made.
Yeah, but the problem with that, though, is you may not get your guy. Like,
maybe,
if you go
maybe
out
not.
shopping early, you may get your guy before he hits the market in a big way, and then you don't get in a bidding war. So there's pluses and minuses to that situation.
It's like coming here to Feldman, though, right?
There are no minuses.
I came. No, I came.
Right.
I came
Look
here.
at professional.
I came here and kicked the tires of that vet, right? I really like that gray. I really like that gray vet.
I do too.
And you know what? Maybe I waited a little too long. Okay. Oh my gosh! Look, there's this beautiful blue vet behind me that's still going to fit. And as a matter of fact, I like that lion blue. Yeah. So you know, I mean, that's. And
don't forget, you get the license plate holder.
You do get that. Boy,
Stick's favorite part about it.
Stick, that's like an extra draft pick that Holmes can use with. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's where you put some lines in the water, and maybe the first guy doesn't bite, and that fish swims away. But there's another fish out there as well, and I think this is the long game. I would be stunned if Brad Holmes didn't do something to address it. I would be.
Well,
I would be stunned.
We gonna see. We're gonna find out. KG, what do I got to tell them about?
Tell them about Taller, the long drink.
Oh man, Taller, the long drink has stole Neil Rule's heart. Me and Neil Rule used to only drink old fashions. Like, that's what we were drinking. We were old-fashioned guys.
Yeah.
I'd make them on Fridays. We do the 103 Club right when he got off air. But you know what? Ever since Taller came along, I don't have my whiskey drinking, buddy, because Taller's so damn good. It's got that natural grapefruit puree. People are drinking them left and right. So if you ever want to try something, I promise you, Neil won't steer you wrong on these things. We knocked canned stuff before. This canned cocktail is something special. So go pick up a Taller. You will not regret it.
And maybe you need help with divorce.
Yeah, maybe you do. KDK Law. They're the ones who can take care of you. As KG likes to say, keep your stuff.
Yeah.
You got to keep your stuff. You're in a messy relationship. Listen, I got a divorce. It was not pretty. Not something I ever thought I'd be going to. But you know what? Sometimes life happens and you got to move on. That's what I did, and I was able to do that with the help of people like KDK Law. So make sure if you're going through that rough transition right now in your life, you contact them.
And the post-game and watch party.
Post-game watch party. You were a part of it last night. We had about 1,500 live viewers at like midnight. You know, we were taking phone calls. It's my favorite thing I get to do here at Woodward Sports, and it goes down live at Hayes Social. You come out, the heavyweights are watching the game. You're hearing them go crazy the whole time, and then the post-game show starts with me and Anson Wells, and we do the post-game show. It's from Hayes Social, brought to you by Soroki's, brought to you by Sabbath Coffee, brought to you by 1800 Tequila, brought to you by Tullamore Dew, and, of course, brought to you by New Holland Brewing Company. Lots of people on that because they know it's the party, and they know that's the place to be.
Can't get enough Lions coverage? Make sure you catch all Woodward sports shows every game day. Wake up with Woodward and Maine, giving you the latest insight into the Lions locker room and press conferences. Then join the Lions pregame show, highlighting key matchups, injuries, and what to watch for during the game. Follow all the ups and downs of the live game action with our Woodward Watch Party live on YouTube and woodwardsports.com. After the game, check out the instant fan and host reactions with the Lions postgame show. Every game, it's wall-to-wall, kneecap-biting, high-fiving, chest-pumping Lions coverage.
Hell yeah!
Only at Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Hey, if you're looking at buying or selling your home, there's only one place to go, Mark White. He going to treat you right and get you that deal. I mean, interest rates are coming down. People are starting to buy homes. I bought my house last year. Mark White, they were the people to go through. They get you a good deal, get you those closing costs that can kill you. They'll help you out with all that stuff. So if you're looking at a new home today, Mark White is where you need to go. And then,
Boys
KG,
and Girls Club,
the Boys and
Southeastern
Girls
Michigan.
Club. Yeah, we talked about joining that Little League football program. It's almost the end of the season for that, but they have much other Little League programs going on there. And also, the championship game for the football season is going to be happening inside Ford Field.
You know it.
Kool-Aid was talking about it. I think we're going to take a whole crew down there and go watch the awesome, awesome youth sports in Detroit. So if you want your youth to be a part of it, the two Utes, go ahead. Sign up today. Welcome back to Big D Energy live at Feldman in Novi. My name is Stick, filling in for Neil Rule. Thank you, everybody, for smashing that like. Lots of people watching today. Lots of people wanting Lions coverage. The main topic, obviously, Aiden Hutchinson. That is Sean Belesian. We got KG. We got Flannel Sam. Sean, I was going to say, let's end the show talking about the positives of going into Jerry's world, beating them up, all that good stuff. But I think you're right. We got to touch on the Tigers. And I know Big D Energy is going to cover that later this week, but me and you won't be on later this week. So I know me and you are big baseball fans.
Yep.
I was watching Game 5 in the airport. I'm on the way back from a honeymoon. Almost threw my frickin' phone across the airport when a grand slam got let up by our ace. Tough way to go out, but as Neil Rule likes to say, all good things end poorly. Otherwise, they wouldn't end.
But you know what? It doesn't take away. I mean, one of the most magical month and a halves any of us have ever seen. Nobody saw it coming. I love to hear you have to give some credit. There were some pretty funny commercials and things out there about bandwagon. Nobody saw that coming. Knock it off. No, you didn't. It was phenomenal. The crazy thing about it, though, and I remember this feeling in 06, was, okay, guess what? It's never going to be like this for the foreseeable future. And you know why I say that? Because now there are expectations. It's always fun when there are no expectations, when it comes out of nowhere. And wow, are we really doing this? Now there are expectations. Let's face it, a lot of variables came together in a perfect storm to allow the Tigers to do that. But it's almost like, Stick, you and I were out last night. We had a great time at Hayes. We had a few brews, and we woke up in the morning and we didn't properly hydrate. And you got a little hangover in the morning now, and you're going, okay, we really need two pitchers. And then there's this Torque guy. What are we going to do about this Torque guy? And what's the answer at shortstop? And do we really have a third baseman? And can all these guys really replicate what they did last year? it kind of sucks because reality falls back in.
Yep.
But that doesn't take away from basking in the glow. It was a memorable run. It just sucks severely that it ended against Cleveland. Of all the gosh damn teams, Cleveland and the Yankees are the two teams that I would not want it to come to an end to. And when you know what had happened against the gosh damn Guardians.
Yeah, the only thing that made that day tolerable is knowing that Ohio State lost to Oregon, so at least Ohio wasn't having a great day as a state. That's all I could take away from that. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, I was excited to watch this. They were fun to watch, but it was when they were coming up. Their batting averages are all like 219, and trying to explain to somebody how they were there, and then now you can look back with hindsight and be like you said, it was a great run. You still need probably 3-4 position players out of 9. you definitely need a bat. You need 2 more pitchers. There's a lot of room for improvement, but I think the uptrend, you're hoping what happened with the Tigers this year is what happened with the Lions 2 years ago. They finished the season strong. You thought they could build on it the next year, and they came out and did it. But unfortunately, that's kind of the position we were left in last year with the Tigers. They didn't make the playoffs, but they were definitely on the upswing. We thought clicking. And you don't get that carryover year to year, especially in baseball. No. You hardly get the carryover week to week, let alone year to year. So I think we're to the point now where management said we're going to spend money. They said, remember, hey, we need to see the young guys. Then we'll start.
Identify the core, he said.
Yep. So the core's identified, right?
Yeah.
Go spend the
You have no choice.
Go spend the money.
You got it.
I mean, it was embarrassing that those statistics were flying out that who we hit the winning home run against the Astros against was making more than our entire roster for that postseason run.
And it's his words, not mine. That's what I keep reminding people.
Man up.
And I'm not saying go sign a guy like Stick for $70 million. You know what
do it.
No,
please sign me for $70 million.
But you know what I'd like
I can
to
do better than Baez, I
like
promise.
And I know people are, well, look at the Rays and look at Cleveland. Yeah, all the playoff success they've had. Boy, you know what? I'm just saying go from 24th, 25th in the league to maybe 15th. I'm not saying go out and sign these giant contracts. I'm saying spend can mean move up a good 8 to 10 spots in regards to team payroll. Let's see if Christopher does that.
Yeah, or just throw your nuts on the table and be the highest paid team in the league.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Like that was a great thing about Mr. Ilitch, the late Mike Ilitch. I'm going to have some Eggs Benedict in the morning. Why don't we go get ourselves a side of Victor Martinez, and then maybe
Gary Sheffield.
Yeah,
right.
That's what he
Who's
did.
in the farm system? Send him.
Yeah, forget it.
Send him.
Prince Fielder, come on. Bring your big behind home. There's no reason to believe Christopher's going to do that. He can prove
let's be fair. The Tigers were trash for a long time when there was no salary cap in the NHL. Because that's where that money was going. As soon as that salary came in for the Red Wings, and I don't have to spend $200 million over here. I got an extra $110 I can spend over here.
Mr. Ilitch got burned a couple times as well, and I think that's what had him hesitant. There was Mike Moore. There was obviously who can forget the Juan Gone situation. So
Juan Gonzalez.
So then,
best right fielder in the game.
When he threw the money out to Pudge, and you and I were talking about that before, it was like, wait a second. Everything's kind of changing right now, and you get Guillen, and you bring in Maglio, and, those planted the seeds to what we saw from 06 to 14.
Well, Tigers, great season. Thank you for the memories. But, yeah, a lot of work to do to get to what we want to see. Like we watched the Dodgers last night. My God. Machines, absolute machines.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for being a part of Big D Energy. We are live here at Feldman. We're here every other Monday, especially on Victory Mondays. It's always a good place to be. So make sure you come out, buy a car, do what you got to do. My name is Stick. That's Sean Belesian, KG, Flannel Sam. We are out. Ermanni and Edwards is up next, but it's going to be Ermanni and Anson up next. So it's going to be a fun show. And don't forget, Dr. Pierce will be on to break down the injury and give you more insight than any of us knuckleheads could to this Aiden Hutchinson issue. So you guys have a great day. Thanks for being a part of Big D Energy.